Hi, and welcome to the Skincarma Pod. I'm Carmine, the creator and voice of the Skincarma blog. With more than 25 years in beauty as a brand builder, copywriter, and skincare junkie, I'm putting my product wisdom and expertise to work demystifying skincare. Today on the Skincarma Pod, I'm excited to welcome Carly Guerra, the founder of Savoir Beauty and the brains behind the industry's first ever serum for the breast area. If this isn't the very definition of beauty innovation, I don't know what is. Carly's journey from corporate executive to entrepreneur is nothing short of inspiring. Before founding Savoir Beauty, she spent nearly 2 decades working on the inside at iconic beauty brands, including La Mer, Dior, MAC, and Lancome. Upon receiving a breast cancer diagnosis, Carly naturally reevaluated the safety and effectiveness of the products in her own skincare routine. Through her extensive experience in beauty, she knew there was nothing specifically formulated for the delicate skin of the breast area. She'd have to create it herself. White space indeed. I'm excited to dive into Carly's story, both personal and professional, to explore the mission behind Savoir Beauty, the importance of community, mentorship, and giving back, and the potential for her brand to revolutionize our industry. It has not gone unrecognized. What she's achieving with the introduction of her beauty breast serum takes raw ingenuity and the guts to defy convention. I'm reminded of my own work at the start of my career as a copywriter on the Avon 3-day breast cancer walks. There was a quotation by Marianne Williamson. In fact, there were many, but this one stands out now. The world as we have created it is a process of our thinking. It cannot be changed without changing our thinking. Let's do this. Let's talk to Carly. Carly, hi.
Hi, Carmine. So happy to see you, and thank you.
I know. I'm so excited to
I'm
see
really
you
happy.
too. Yeah, this is so great. Oh my God, we have so much in common. And I think, right? It's
Yes,
like,
we do.
I think we're kind of cut from the same cloth,
Mhm.
the same big beauty cloth. But you know, when we had lunch a couple of weeks ago, and you talked about what you've learned in your career from each of the companies you worked for, and I want to get into that because I never forgot what you said. But first, let's hear about you. Like, who's Carly? Where'd you grow up? You know, all of that.
Sure, absolutely. So, Carly Guerra, the founder of Savoir, and I grew up actually in upstate New York,
Mm,
close to Syracuse, Utica, New York, which is a
I know
very,
it.
I'm sure you do. It has a very high Italian population.
Yes, it
So,
does. And
yes.
when I was in college, I went to college in Worcester. I remember I had a friend who was at Cornell, and I used to drive my 1981 Ford Escort from Worcester to Cornell. And that car guzzled oil more than gas, and I had to have a case of oil in the back of the car because I needed to stop like every half hour and put oil in it.
Oh
Isn't
my
that nuts?
goodness.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
so
when
I
you're
know
up
the
there, there's
region
not a lot
well.
of places to stop to help you. So
Not
you
at
have to go,
all.
you have to come prepared.
I very much felt that. Okay, so Utica, the Utica
Yes.
area.
Yes. So grew up there
Hmm.
and went to undergrad up there and then
Ah.
came to New York to get my MBA and I never left. But I
Oh,
started
wow.
in retail at 16 years old.
Where?
And well, I may be dating myself, but J.C. Penney.
Okay.
J.C. Penney in the suburbs of Utica. Not just
Uh-huh.
J.C. Penney, photography by J.C. Penney, which has come in
Oh,
very handy for me now with social media, I have to tell you
right. Okay.
the skills that I learned. So that was my very first job in retail. And I actually continued working retail on the floor, which was the best experience for me throughout college, throughout graduate school.
Hmm.
I graduated from photography by J.C. Penney. I went on to Banana Republic, moving up in the world, Banana
Oh,
Republic,
okay. Okay.
and then Pottery Barn and
Oh,
West Elm. So
oh my
everything
God.
from pictures to jeans to
I told you we were
couches.
cut from the
I've
same
sold.
cloth. I worked in housewares at G Fox. Do you remember G Fox? It was like one of the May stores in
I don't think
it
I
was
knew.
in
I don't know.
Connecticut. It
Oh,
was
I
in
didn't know
Connecticut.
that. No. But I
Yeah.
knew
And when
Kaufman, where I was, there was Kaufman's and
yes,
Hess.
totally.
Yes.
And when I
Yes.
moved to LA, I transferred my job from G Fox to their sister store, May Company in LA. And I thought that my job was going to be in housewares. And I got there thinking I was going to housewares and I was going to arrange cutlery sets and all of that stuff because I was really good at it.
Yes.
And they
Yes.
asked me if I would help out in cosmetics. So that's how that happened for me. But
Oh,
I
I
get
love
it.
that.
Yeah, that's old school retail. I aged myself
See?
as well.
Yes. But they always know where to put you in retail. They really do. They're
Apparently,
great. They're great at identifying, yes, talent and where it needs to go. So
I never thought of it that way. That HR
it's
manager was
true.
onto something. She created my career.
She
I've
did.
never.
She did.
Wow. Okay, so retail. You went all through retail. When did you get into beauty?
So I got my MBA from Fordham University,
Okay.
and I loved retail. I never knew when I started at 16 that I could actually, like, I'm from the suburbs in upstate New York. I didn't know I could get a job like in retail, but like in the corporate world.
Right.
So as I went through the MBA program, more exposure here in the city from being a small town girl, I was like, oh, my mother was a huge fan of the Estee Lauder brand.
Oh,
And
wow.
every month we were at that counter in Sangertown Square Mall in New Hartford, New York. So I grew up loving that brand and knowing that brand. I've known that little brown bottle, the Advanced Night Repair bottle, for
Yep.
years.
Yep.
And actually, I was at a networking event trying to find my first job outside of retail and in corporate. And someone was there from the Estee Lauder companies
Oh my
on her
God.
name tag. And I ran up and I introduced myself, and the rest is history.
Really?
Yes.
So you started at Estee Lauder?
I did. I started at the Estee Lauder brand itself, actually.
Yes.
And
Do you
at the
remember Fruition? Let's age ourselves
Oh,
again.
yeah.
Okay.
Of course.
Okay. I was a cosmetics manager in LA when we launched Fruition and had the bags and the tissue, and I loved that product.
Oh, I don't know if they still have it or not.
I don't think they do.
No,
They don't. No.
It was a good product.
It was.
Yes. So I was there throughout. Speaking of moments that where the times have changed. Do you remember the launch of Sensuous, that fragrance?
Yes.
So the launch of that at Bloomingdale's 59th Street, I was there. They had all of the spokesmodels there. So, as my first few years at Lauder, I feel so fortunate to kind of get that groundwork and that experience there. It really shaped my perspective on the industry and really helped me grow my love for the industry too. And Mr. Lauder always had these brand equity symposiums. And, when I first joined, I was doing whatever at Lauder companies. And I was there making copies for all the executives at the symposiums. And I was really fortunate to be able to sit in the back row after handing out all the copies. And I learned so much from him. So I'm really, really lucky that I feel like I was at the right place at the right time, and was able to learn so much from that organization. I'll be forever grateful to them.
Yeah, that's awesome. I have the same feeling for L'Oreal.
We both did. We were both at L'Oreal, and I love L'Oreal too. I was at you had started out asking about this, so I was at Lauder, L'Oreal, and then LVMH, and I was really lucky throughout the industry, and I think most people will say this too, that they've had amazing experiences. It's a very special industry, and I learned something different at each one. I just feel really fortunate with the people that I have met. Has been I think the most amazing experience.
Yeah, agreed completely. All my closest friends here in New York are basically from my career there. When I first
from L'Oreal.
Yeah, when I first moved, I worked at Kiehl's from when I first moved to New York. I had like one friend in the city. I didn't know anybody here, so everybody I knew was, coworkers.
It's amazing, and it's so true. You really bond in this
Yeah,
industry for sure. Yes.
All right, so let's talk about Savoir and your inspiration behind the brand. Like, what inspired you to create Savoir Beauty?
Sure.
And how did I would like to hear about your personal experience as well, because I think it played a part in it.
Absolutely, 100%. So I had actually gone back to the Estee Lauder companies after I had gone to some other companies. I returned and I was at MAC Cosmetics in 2022,
Mm,
where I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And I'm in remission now, which is wonderful.
yeah.
But it was at that moment where I was completely shocked. And, we were just talking about our age. I'm not young, but I was young to get diagnosed. Um, And I remember one day I was in the shower recently after being diagnosed, and you get tested for something that's called the BRCA gene, which really determines, like, hey, do you have a predisposition to this, to breast cancer returning? And
Mm,
with that information, really determines your path of treatment. So I was having a moment, for lack of a better term, when I was in the shower, and I was just thinking, my God, I've been in this industry for 18 years. We have all of these products for eye, lip, neck, face.
everywhere. Yes.
Past 5 years, kind of like V Beauty down below has exploded,
Yes.
but nothing has been created for the breast area and specifically answer to the skincare needs of the breast. And we were just talking about before we started, like how much skincare we receive in this industry.
Yes.
We tried
Yes.
everything, and I've been moisturizing. They say your face starts at your waist, so you've been moisturizing everywhere. And so when I got out of the shower, I said, I need to go online right now and find something that's been formulated for the breast area that I
Mm,
can use and
mhm.
incorporate into my routine, because I want to be very cognizant about what I was applying. And to my surprise, there was nothing that had existed. I was expecting to see a category out there. There were a few products sprinkled here and there, but they were more messaging along the terms of, oh, we can lift them, we can firm them, we can make them
Right.
bigger. And that's the opposite of what I wanted. I wanted something
Right.
that was very hydrating, very calming. So it was at that moment that I thought to myself, okay, I want this product for myself. So there has to be other people that want this product. And number two, I really wanted to turn an experience, the only other word I can think of is a bad experience, a terrible experience, into something positive. Because as I was going through my journey, I learned that one in every 8 women are diagnosed with breast cancer, and 45% of them are, 10% are under the age of 45.
Mm,
So I knew that there were people that had the same experience as me that may want something for the breast area. So that is when the brand was born.
mm.
A few months after my surgery, I started ideating, thinking about what I want to do, thinking about ingredients, thinking about what I wanted, how I wanted the formula to perform, and what I wanted to provide for women. And overall, I knew that I wanted to have this brand, aside from being a wonderful formula. It's a mission driven brand, it's education based, and I want to be sure that I'm turning this experience for women, which can be quite fearful, kind of doing a self breast exam and
Yeah.
learning and to look what to look for. I'm turning it from fear into fun.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make the packaging beautiful, to have it be something that's women want to have as a reminder. Oh, thank you. Yes,
Here it
a
is.
reminder on their vanities. Yes.
Yeah. So I want to talk about the product. Um, what was that brief like for the formulator or for the chemist you were working with? Like, how do you find a chemist who's interested in working on a product like this? I mean, they're not very often interested in working on something they've never made before, right?
Yes.
I mean,
That's
literally, like,
mm-hmm.
yeah.
It's very true. And thank you for bringing that up, because that was, I've always been on the sales side of the business, sales and
Mm,
marketing. So it was really interesting, talking about, my own experience, what I believe women need for this area from a formula perspective. And what I had shared in that brief, in that first review form, was what I need for these ingredients is I need them to be calming, And I know that, we were talking about earlier being Italian. My grandmother taught me how to garden, and we used to grow vegetables and herbs in her gardens. One of the ingredients that we grew together was parsley. And I always knew from her, she's like, eat the Mediterranean diet. Parsley's anti-inflammatory. So I knew from her, and she was also impacted by breast cancer in her 80s. I knew from her that this was a very, very calming ingredient. So I said, I need the formula to be calming, and I need to have parsley as the hero ingredient.
It's ingredient number 2, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It is, yes.
Yeah. I did a deep dive into that inky.
Did you?
I did. I sure
I'm
did.
sure you did.
I did.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And we are confirmed Sephora clean and Credo clean.
Mm-hmm.
So the other piece that I told the formulators is, with this, it needs to have 2 other elements to it. We need to make sure that a little goes a long way, that there's enough time for women to do a self-breast exam when they apply this formula. And lastly, it needs to, when the playtime is finished with the formula, it needs to leave the skin petal soft. Because there's a lot of amazing skincare out there, as you know, but sometimes it leaves kind of like this film effect sometimes, I understand, which I personally love for my face when I go out in the winter time, but I knew it could not leave that kind of effect on the breast because women need to get dressed immediately, either in pajamas or in their bra. And I want it to be petal soft, which I hope you're experiencing right now as you're applying it, Carmine.
Yes. The back of my hand is indeed petal soft.
And the other piece that I added into this was, I went through and I said to myself, okay, I have 18 years experience learning about all of these products, experiencing all of these products and product launches. Not to mention working and being a beauty junkie personally.
Yeah.
And I said, what do I need and what do I want? What are the specific needs of the breast area? We have a triple board certified dermatologist that is engaged with the brand. It's been reviewed with him as well to kind of get his thoughts. And I had 8 needs for the breast area. And this is what I proposed in partnership with these chemists who were great, who we went through several iterations of the formula to get it to where it needed to be.
Oh, wow. So you briefed, I'm familiar with the 8 vital needs of the breast area skin that you talk about on the site. So you briefed them with that?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes. And we then went and got some incredible clinicals after the fact from a third party to prove that. Great.
I mean, the formula is super unique. I wanted to use it on my face because I knew in looking at the inky that, it was wonderful for facial skin, but it has such a unique texture that doesn't lend itself to facial skincare. And right? Like,
it's
can
true.
You explain that? Like, is that part of that experience where you're talking about a woman using it to give herself a self-exam?
Yes, it is. To your point, we talked about with the formulation house, this has to be formulated specifically for the breast area.
Yeah.
And the area is so different than any other part of the body. For women, it's the only area that really expands and contracts throughout the month during your cycle. It's one of the thinnest areas of skin on the body. And it also has a lot fewer oil glands in the area as well. And it's the only part of the body that's really exposed to super tight clothing, whether you're at the gym, whether you're in your work bra or bathing suit, etc. So there were so many things that we needed to think about incorporating, such as one of the items, supporting skin barrier function when you think about bras up against the skin.
Yeah.
So the formula itself, yes, it's specifically, because that's one of the questions that I have gotten from some consumers was, can I use this throughout my body? Because they love how soft the feeling is after the application, and then also how it applies. Similar to an eye cream, how you feel like the texture of that's a bit different.
Yeah.
Could you use an eye cream on your face? Sure, but it's specifically formulated for that area, and this is specifically formulated for the breast and décolleté.
You can tell
area.
There's something different about this product. It really does feel like it just feels different. It feels unique.
It really is. It's very special. There was
Yeah.
a lot of thought put into it and a lot of iterations that went through as well. And it's also, I'm glad you could feel the difference because the formula is patent pending
Hmm.
because of its uniqueness and what it's been proven to do. So very, very excited and super happy with the formula and its efficacy.
Yeah, it's certainly, I mean, I try everything. I put
Yes.
everything on the back of my hand. Um, and I was like, wow, I've never seen anything like this before. I have not.
Yeah.
It feels like a breakthrough product. And, it's
Mhm.
like, I know you're inventing an entirely new category that you realized didn't even exist when you needed it. Um, so like, what do you think is maybe the most common misconception about skincare for the breast or treating the breast area skin?
Sure. That is such a great question. And in this world, and you get a lot of no's,
Hmm.
and there was a lot of people that said, "Oh, well, how often do women have their breasts exposed? Why would they want skincare for the breast area?" That's really not what it's about.
Yeah.
Uh, it's really about treating the area. Yes, it absolutely beautifies the area, but it's also very protective of the area as well. So a common misconception is, why would I need a separate product for my breast? And the answer is because it has very different needs than any other part of your body, just from a skin standpoint alone. Not to mention that all of the formulation of this product, creating it clean, ensuring that it was formulated right for the breast area, given the nature of where it's being applied.
Yeah.
Um, so that's I would say is the main misconception.
And I do want to point out that it was something that you and I talked about earlier, that the product is made for every woman every day for caring for her breast area skin. It's not just made for women who are maybe undergoing, treatment, radiation, and have super sensitivity in the breast area.
Oh, absolutely. On the website, I say on there, for every woman, for every skin, and for every story. It's so important. Our tagline is "Beauty in the Know," and I
Hmm.
picked that tagline. And
Savoir.
Savoir means to
Hmm.
know, yes, because it was so critical for me to understand. Okay, what am I putting on my breast area? And it's so important, I think, for all women to know that, and all women to know how to do a self breast exam. Because I can tell you, at first I was embarrassed to admit this, but as I've talked to more women, they've said the same thing. Like, I didn't know how to do a self breast exam
Mm.
properly. You go
Yeah.
into a doctor's office, you get this like 4x6 card with like four little dots on a stick figure, and I'm like, I don't even know what I'm looking for right now.
Right.
It's like, so it's so important to like be familiar, to know what you're putting on your body and to know your body itself, and to know what to look for. You and I
Yeah.
had talked before about self advocacy when it
Hmm.
comes to
Your health.
your
Yeah.
health and medical needs. So I'm really hoping that, number one, we pioneer a new category, so women start thinking about this and kind of shifting the viewpoint of the industry, and then also provide education, because it doesn't seem we're talking about it a little bit, but I think there could be a lot more conversation that occurs.
For sure. I mean, the product doesn't never existed before this,
Mm-hmm.
so I think that's essential. So you talked about the brand and its importance, in terms of its focus on education and giving back, and can we talk a little bit about your commitment to that, and
Mm-hmm.
your alliance partnership with Cancer and Careers?
Yes. Thank you for bringing that up. I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Cancer and Careers was actually a group that I worked with when I was diagnosed.
Ah.
And they're a global non for profit. And I didn't even know that they existed prior to being diagnosed. And someone had told me to contact them, and contact them right away. And I was so grateful that I did because, you get a diagnosis, you're like completely shocked, and you have
Hmm.
to think, okay, what can I do to, make myself still feel normal. I love my work. I love what I do in beauty. I wanted to continue to work. So what this organization did for me was they really helped and coached me and said, okay, here's how you communicate to HR, how you've been diagnosed. Here's how you communicate to your manager. Here's how you share that you still want to work, even though you'll be going through a series of doctor's appointments, et cetera. And here's what we can do to, still help you maintain your normal life, if you
Yeah.
will. They do so much. They also do coaching for organizations with having like managers learn, okay, how do you support and help your employees who have cancer continue working and continue to contribute while they're going through any sort of surgery, doctor's appointments, treatments, etc. So it's an incredible organization, and 1% of every bottle goes and is donated back to Cancer and Careers. And actually, for this October, we will have $5 of every bottle
Oh my
sold being
God, that's a
donated to Cancer
lot.
and Careers. Yes, in honor of
Wow,
Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Yeah, we're
that's
very excited
amazing.
about it.
How cool. Yay.
Yes.
I
So
I
very
love,
happy to give back to them. I feel very fortunate that I was
yeah.
connected with them.
Yeah, you're really paying it forward.
Thank you.
Yeah. That really hits home for me because what I go through with chronic migraine.
Yes.
And the one thing I struggle with most is not the pain, is not the side effects of the migraine, like all that other stuff that
Mhm.
nobody really talks about, like the way it shuts down your body and demotivates you. But dealing with the people around me is really one of the most challenging things. And you deal with misinformation and misconceptions about what you're going through, and is it people think it's just a headache for the most part, and maybe you have it once a month and you're lying on the bed in a dark room and you get over it. But when you have chronic migraine, I wish it was once a month and it was so bad that I was laying on a bed in the dark. But it's not that. And like I have to live my life outside of that, right? And so, when you talk about that, that really, like, I'm like, I need like a I need like a support group
For
for
migraines,
migraine.
yes.
It's so interesting. And you even talked when you referred to the moment of your diagnosis. Like I remember my diagnosis when I found out I had HIV, and it was like I was at work and I closed my laptop and I got up and I left. I didn't even talk to anybody and I just left. And I remember that ride home on the train, on the 4 train, and walking into my building and just being in complete shock. I had no idea what I was going to do next, how I was going to survive it. And that was a long time ago, and I've come a long way since then. So I really like that moment, and I think a lot of people can relate to that. And it's so important what you're doing to pay it forward and to mentor other women going through the same thing, and to create something for them that they don't know that they lack until they really need it.
Thank you for sharing that, Carmine. And it's so true. We have like these punctuation moments, like
Mm,
I kind of like to call them, like you just shared, where it's truly life transforming. You just
yeah,
look at things so differently. And now, to your point, it's like you kind of look at the world, and from my perspective, I say, okay, and I don't know if you have the same experience. I think you do. You're a creator. So now I say, okay, what do I want to, I could get choked up by saying this right now and hearing, your story, but what do I want to create while I still have time left here on this earth? What do we
yeah,
want? What do we want to contribute to others? And, if I can help just one person, even just one person, I hope it helps so many
yeah.
more. But if I can help even just one person, that I will feel like my goal and my mission with this has been completed.
Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you for that. Um, so you spoke earlier about the fact that you're an alumna of Fordham,
Yes.
but you're also a professor at Fordham, correct?
I am, yes.
Now, I don't want to let that slip. Like, what's that like? You're a professor at the graduate business school?
I am.
Oh,
Yes,
wow.
yes. I didn't know you were going to bring this up,
I
Carmine.
didn't know either, but you
Surprise,
mentioned the
yes.
alumna thing, and I'm like, she's not just an alumna of Fordham.
So I teach a class there, which I love teaching.
Hmm.
I love it for a couple different reasons.
Yeah,
One, the students definitely keep me on my toes, so I definitely
yeah.
have to know what's happening
Hmm.
and be able to, answer to, current events in our industry. Um, but the other piece of it as well is that, I learn, I feel like, so much from them. And I feel like I can only hope that I teach them as much as I'm learning
Yeah,
from
yeah.
them. It's and I feel like, you and I talked about some of our managers, that we have some like mentors and managers
Hmm.
in common.
Hmm.
And just to be able to experience that and have that in life, with Hillary, for example, Hillary
Shout out
Solomon. Shout
Hillary.
out to Hillary.
Yes.
We love you, Hill.
We love you,
Um,
Hill.
to be able to pay that forward when you've
Mm.
had someone who's just there to kind of pass that knowledge on that you've gained through experience, and be able to share that have the opportunity to share that with students and people who want to learn, is just a great experience. I feel very, very lucky that Fordham has given me the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, that's so great. And you don't know this, but we also have that in common. I taught English in LA. And
I
so
didn't know this.
yeah, so I completely understand what it's like. You're like, am I giving them as much as they're giving me? Because they do run you ragged. Um, but
Yes.
and I always, I'm here today, honestly, when we talk about influences in our lives and, people who steered us, and, my realization all of a sudden that HR manager at May Company, created my career in beauty. Um, I remember always wanting to do my high school English teacher justice when I was teaching English. And, always thought back to the things that she taught us, and the way that she approached me and how she inspired me. And I always tried to do that with my students. And
Love
it's a
that.
teaching everybody should teach. Everybody
Yes.
should, even if it's a year, like I did it for, I think, 3 years. It's just an incredible experience. And especially if they're really young and impressionable,
Yes.
because you were too, and you think back to that time. Yeah,
So sure, I had no idea. That's very impressive, Carmine.
it's wild,
Carmine, I
right?
think we might be related somehow with all the things we have in common. Separated at birth somewhere in Italy.
I need to go back and look at my genealogy.
Yes.
All right, so let's shift to the future. What do you think is ahead? So you're creating this whole category from nothing, essentially. Like, what do you think the future looks like for beauty, and particularly uh, you know, breast care?
My goal with starting this brand is, I wanted to have Savoir be the pioneer category for breast.
Hmm.
And it's really my hope that, with the over the past year, we've done some amazing clinical studies that we've gotten some incredible consumer feedback, that other brands start to say, we need to also develop product for this area as well, for two reasons. One, because it's skin different than any other part of the body, that women need support there for
Yeah.
that area. And two, that we have this epidemic that's happening with 1 in every 8 women being diagnosed with breast cancer. That doesn't even count the amount of women that are getting reports back on their mammogram. They have to go in for a very, very invasive biopsy. And if any woman out there has gotten a biopsy, they know how difficult that is. So there's a lot happening out there for whatever reason, with it becoming, much younger and many more women being diagnosed, that I think it's so important. And I think the industry has done a wonderful job with moving towards, a new direction, with being very, very thoughtful with ingredients. But there's so much more we can do with the breast area, with being thoughtful for that area of women's bodies as well. So it's my hope that all brands start to develop a category within their brand portfolio for skincare for this area.
Well, certainly some some brands are going to be, I mean, you know how this industry works, right?
Yes.
Like we've all sat in those meetings and said, we need to make something like this.
That's so true.
Or something like this, or something like this.
Yes. Did you see?
Right?
Did you see this? Yes.
Yeah, totally.
Very true. Yeah.
Totally. All right. Well, so hopefully that happens. I'm sure it is. I'm sure it's happening already.
I hope so.
All right. So let's wrap up on a lightning round. I love a good lightning round. I'll just shoot some questions to you. You can answer them as succinctly or as however you'd like.
Okay.
First, what's one beauty product you can't live without?
Such a good question. I love Dr. Ariel Ostad. He's a great dermatologist. He has an incredible neck refining cream. I hope I'm doing it justice right now. I don't even know. Maybe I shouldn't have said that right now, but he has an incredible neck refining cream that is not to be missed.
Oh.
So that I love.
What's the brand called?
Dr. Ariel Ostad, Ariel, and then the last name is Ostad.
Okay.
He's a dermatologist and plastic surgeon on the Upper East Side.
Great. I'm going to drop the link into the show notes. And of course, I'll drop the link to Savoir and the serum in the show notes.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you, Carmine.
If you could give one piece of advice to someone just starting out in beauty, what would it be?
Absorb everything around you as much as you can. Take every single opportunity, any stretch project, anything, just completely immerse yourself in it, because there's so much to learn. And I look back at my career and I'm so grateful that I just fell in love with the industry and just absorbed as much as I possibly could. And that, I think, is the best advice that I can give anyone. There's so much to learn, and just you work with incredible people, such dynamic people, such personalities, such people with amazing stories and backgrounds, and like an affinity and passion for aesthetics, like helping make the world beautiful, like you. There's not too many industries that can compete with this one, I would say.
Oh, for sure.
Yes.
For sure. I mean, you have to be a sponge.
Yes.
All right. What's your go-to self-care routine when you need to unwind?
Oh, of course, the Savoir breast ritual.
Okay.
Number one, first and foremost. But I love massage.
Ah.
Yes. Absolutely. I just think it's so beneficial on multiple levels, just from a relaxing and calming element. Like after I was diagnosed, one of the things that we talked about, parsley and the calming effects, and one of the things I shifted was really focusing on an anti-inflammatory diet. So I tried to make everything very, very, with what I'm putting in and how I'm treating the outside of my body, just keep everything very calm.
So if I ask you your favorite skincare ingredient, are you going to say turmeric?
Did you see this turmeric? Maybe I'm late to the party on this. I don't know, but this turmeric milk that was on social, that was I don't know. I kept getting these. They probably know I'm on an anti-inflammatory diet, but they kept advertising how to make this. Yeah. I've never tried it, but I don't know if you've seen this or you've tried it.
I haven't, but I'll tell you, I love a turmeric latte. Oh my God.
Good. Yes.
Whenever I go to LA, I'd always try to hit up this one vegan restaurant in Larchmont, and I think it's called Gratitude.
Okay.
My LA friends will be like, hello, you have to struggle to remember the name. Like, you live there. And they have a turmeric latte. I love to go there for breakfast, and they have a turmeric latte. It is amazing. I never finish it because I never finish any drinks. Um, but the experience of it when I am drinking it is incredible.
I'm going to have to go there next
Yeah,
time I'm in LA. Thank you
yeah,
for the reco.
for sure. What's the best advice you've ever received in your career?
Oh, best advice. This might be a little taboo, but it
Okay.
was don't listen to your manager and take this opportunity. Change the trajectory of my life.
Oh my God, I love that. I've never, no one's
This
ever
is so
asked me that.
honest.
Yeah, and I'm thinking,
Yeah, what is yours?
Oh, you know what? It was advice that he didn't intend to give, and it achieved the wrong result for him. He was the head of HR at May Corporation, like
Oh,
the
I
head.
already like how this is
Yes,
starting.
the
Continue
top
on. Yes, I'm
guy.
intrigued. Okay.
And so I was like the star cosmetics manager. There were like maybe 40 stores in May at that point throughout California and wherever else. And I had decided that if I were going to advance my career in beauty, I needed to leave, because I don't know if you knew this, but May Corporation didn't have Lauder, Lancôme, and Clinique.
I did not know this.
Yes, they did not. They didn't
Wow.
have the big three. And the reason they didn't have the big three, and it goes back to Estee Lauder herself, when she created her fragrance and she was running around to department stores and spraying it on the carpeting,
Youth
and
do.
going to different buying offices and trying to sell in. She really wanted to get into May because they had stores across the
Yes.
country,
Mm-hmm.
and they apparently humiliated her, and they like snubbed her and laughed her out of the buying offices, like, you're nobody for us. And she vowed from then on that when they did end up going into retail, that they would never ever go into May Corporation. And we knew that, like, that was legendary, and everybody knew it. And so I had to build a business on Elizabeth Arden, which, no shade, but today Elizabeth Arden is a shadow of its former self. But back then, in the 80s and 90s, it was a big deal.
Yes.
I had to build my business on Elizabeth Arden, on Revlon, on Ultima 2.
Oh.
Like,
Taking me a walk on memory lane.
I know. There's people listening to this going, what? Ultima 2 is the brand that launched Halston fragrances. We had Ultima 2 in one case and Halston fragrances in the case next to it. Like, that was part of the same division. So go back and watch the Halston documentary, people.
I do. That's on my list. Was it good?
Yeah, so
Oh,
good.
I need to watch it.
It was
Okay.
so good. So I said, I need to go somewhere. I need to go to a competitor, and I went to Bullock's, and it's in Bullock's Century City is where I really kicked off my beauty career. I accepted a position at Bullock's as the cosmetics department manager, and I resigned. And it went all the way up to the top. This guy was, because the store I was in was the buying offices were upstairs. Like, so beauty was,
Yes.
cosmetics department buying was upstairs. And, they made a big deal out of it. And this guy, I'd never interacted with him before. He was like the senior VP of all time of HR, and called me into his office. It was one of those huge offices. Everything was like wood. I never saw anything like it in my life. I come from humble beginnings in Connecticut. And we sat down, and he said, I understand that you are resigning and that you have made the decision to go to Bullock's, and to leave us. And I said, yes, like, I need the big three. I have to have that. And he said, well, I'll tell you right now, if you leave, the door closes behind you.
And this was the head of HR?
Yes. And I was like, bye. You can't close that door fast enough. Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
Yes. I bet he regrets that.
I bet he does
bet he
now.
never used that again.
I bet he's watching you now on your podcast.
Totally.
Yes.
He's like, I remember you
Yes.
now. I thought I remembered that name.
Yeah.
All right. So it's just a couple more questions.
Sure.
What's something most people don't know about you?
Well, listen, I've learned in this industry to toot my own horn. So I will say I have the results to say over 18 to 20 years, actually more than that if you count JCPenney. I'm a great salesperson. However, I'm actually very introverted. Very introverted. So I need to have my time by myself. Actually, very quiet.
Guess what?
Person. You too, Carmine?
Oh God, I would rather be alone 24/7. I mean, I went to a movie. I hope the friend I went to the movies with last week doesn't hear this, but I went to a movie with a friend last week, and I am so used to going to movies alone, and this was a movie I was dying to see, and we went, and it was great, but I'm going again tonight by myself. And all the exact same movie.
I love this.
All I can say is I promised my best friend, who's me, that I would go to that movie, and I have to fulfill that. So I'm with you on that. Total introvert. Yeah.
I love that you go to movies by yourself too, because that's one of my favorite things to do.
There you go.
Paris Theaters on 58th
Yes.
Street. It's one of my favorite movie theaters in the city because it's so nostalgic when you go in there.
It really is.
Let me tell you, it's such a nice break just to go to a movie by yourself. And
Isn't it?
The last they were showing Beverly Hills Cop, and I went to it, and it was fantastic. After a very long week, I went and watched it by myself. Loved it.
I love that.
Yes.
I'm in downtown Brooklyn, and there's an Alamo Draft House over here that has a full restaurant menu, and they play classic movies all the time. And so I saw Birdcage there a few months ago. Like,
no way.
These movies that I'm not even Brokeback Mountain.
Oh, I love that movie.
Yeah, and to see that on the big screen again, and not to, I'll probably get in trouble with Apple for bringing this up, when they post the podcast, but Caligula, like that raunchy Penthouse film Caligula from like 1985, like I saw that. Like, I love seeing anything in the movies, and especially a movie from decades ago.
Carmine, I love this. I think we should plan a time that we're both going to the movies by ourselves.
Yes.
But end up there at the same time, and we'll be independent together. You can sit in one area.
And we can meet up afterwards for coffee.
There we go.
Yeah. All right, last question.
Yes.
What's the one thing you want people to remember about Savoir after listening to this episode?
So many things, but say that it's so important to treat your body, especially women, we mentioned this a few times, to be self-advocates and to really care for your body and know what your body needs. You can get, a bunch of medical streams going for your medical checks, but know what you're putting on your body and make sure that you're caring for your body in the right way.
That's beautiful. Beautiful place to end.
Carmine, it was such a pleasure. I always love talking to you, but this was extra special.
Thank you, Carly. This is so great.
Thank you.
And here it is, the Beauty Breast Serum from Savoir. Again, I'll drop the link into the show notes. Thank you so much, Carly.
Thank you, Carmine. Such a pleasure.
Okay.
Thank you for doing this podcast. It's amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Ciao.
Bye.
All right. Thank you for listening to the Skincarma Pod. Find more insights, real talk, and reviews of my favorite skincare products on the Skincarma blog at skincarma.com. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please rate and review this episode. It helps me to reach more listeners. Ciao.